my checks on. Like I said, like your flight's paid for. Obviously, like I said, everyone's contract's different, situation's different, but a lot of times, like your rent's paid for. That's like the main thing.
For sure. That's the main thing. That's the big expense, yeah.
Man, I'm paying rent now. I'm like, man, like.
It's tough.
Yeah. Hold on now. Like my check, like half my check is gone.
That's how it would be.
You know what I mean? So like overseas, they pay for your apartment. Most of the time they pay for your car. Your flight over there to and from. So like a lot of the times your checks that you're getting, are kind of yours, and you're saving a lot of that. So that was kind of like an adjustment from when I retired. Was I have to pay
rent.
Yeah.
You got to pay your
every
you
day,
actually got to pay your bills.
Every day, like what people do. You know what I mean? So that was a little different.
I'm 3 hours away, you know what I'm on. Not much else to say. Girl, pick up the phone. You my favorite, baby. My song plays, your ringtone. Tell you I could do no wrong. Love it when I'm coming home to you. Yeah, I'm in my zone.
Welcome back to another edition of the Athletes and Athletics series on the Mike on Mike podcast. I'm your host, Mike Robb, and we're still on the move at Purdue Northwest. I am joined by the all-time collegiate scorer in the state of Kansas, the leading scorer at University of St. Mary, former league MVP, Israeli league MVP, two-time Israeli league champ, Grant Greenberg. We appreciate you for coming on the pod today.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Well, of course, man. Been looking forward to this for a while, so
I'm glad we could get it done.
For sure. So, first of all, how we doing today?
I'm good. We're in the middle of our kids' camp, our youth camp. So, Wednesday always the middle of the week.
For sure.
But it's good though. It's been a lot, but kids having a good time.
No, that's good. Yeah. That's good. So, how's the adjusting to the new school and the new town going for you?
It's been good. So, I moved out here officially about like 10 days ago.
Really?
So,
okay.
Myself and Coach Ashton, we were kind of going back and forth for like the last month and a half, from Missouri back up here, kind of on the weekends. But then, it feels good to, get my place, get situated, and kind of be here.
Right, not have to drive back and forth.
So, no, it's been good. Kind of figuring out, kind of all the places, restaurants.
They got some okay eats over here.
Yeah, it's kind of like tricky of being in Indiana and then being in Illinois. And,
definitely.
I don't know what.
I say stay on that Illinois side too. That's where I'm from. I think the food's better over there. Yeah.
So it's just kind of figuring out obviously the state lines and obviously like the different towns. They kind of all run into each other. But no, it's been good so far.
No, that's good. Yeah. So going into a little bit of your background, when and who got you into basketball?
Oh, that's a good question. I would probably say I started playing when I was young, about like 3 or 4. I have an older brother, so I always shout him out, Jeb. He played basketball, and I played a lot. I played all the sports growing up. But you know how kind of the older brother is he is always playing outside. So he would always let me play with his friends. He'd always beat up on me in the backyard.
Of course.
So we would play football, basketball, baseball. But I just remember like basketball being, kind of the one sport that I like loved. And eventually I played everything kind of going through middle school, and then basketball, I kind of focused on that, strictly in high school. And ever since, kind of 3, 4, I've always had some sort of, basketball at some point in my hands.
No, most definitely. So when did you start taking basketball serious? Because everybody has that like moment where they're like, okay, I need to get like a trainer and all that stuff.
High school. Probably about. So I played. I ended up playing varsity my freshman year.
Oh, okay.
In high school.
That's real rare, yeah.
So, yeah, it was like I played the last kind of like 5 games on varsity I started JV freshman year, and then kind of worked my way up to starting getting some time on varsity.
For sure.
Kind of after that season, you know, kind of opened my eyes of like, you know, I can kind of do something with this. And, you know, I just fell in love with just like the process of working. And that's kind of just been my whole career. It's just getting in the gym and working.
Right, that's what sets people apart. Everybody who loves the game, who really loves the game is at a higher level,
For sure.
at the collegiate level.
No, for sure.
So why did you end up going to St. Mary's after high school? What influenced that decision?
Yeah, so actually, I went to Northwest Missouri State my freshman year out of high school. So I went there actually, so that's how I met Coach Ashton.
Oh, okay.
So myself and Coach Ashton both were freshmen there at Northwest.
Got you, okay.
So that's like the connection. And then I redshirted there and ended up transferring after my freshman year to St. Mary. I already had kind of connection there. My older brother played there.
Okay.
So I already had kind of connection. I was familiar with you know, the coaching staff, you know, the campus. So yeah, it was just kind of, you know, the right fit for me. You know, I kind of, you know, looking back on it, you know, preach on, you know, kind of going where you're wanted. And,
100%.
You know, going, you know, the right fit. And most importantly, where, you know, you have fun playing basketball. And, you know, a lot of people ask me, you know, why you didn't transfer.
Right, that's my next question.
Yeah.
Why'd you end up staying all 4 years?
Obviously, the rules were different back then, where you had to sit out for a year if you transferred. But, you know, I just loved the school. It was in kind of my hometown, so, you know, my family, my friends could come to every game.
For sure.
And, you know, I was comfortable, and, you know, I had a great kind of system that I played in. And, yeah, I just, loved the basketball there. Loved the school. And,
For sure.
You know, I'm from Kansas, so, you know, kind of KU, Kansas University is, the big school there. And, you know, I always, you know, tell people I kind of treated St. Mary like that was my KU. You know, I took pride in going to St. Mary, and, you know, it was one of the best decisions I made.
No, that's good. That's good. So St. Mary's is an NAIA.
Yeah.
So did you ever feel like your play was being overlooked?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, looking back on it, for sure, I've always had a chip on my shoulder. Coming out of high school, I really wasn't highly recruited. And then obviously went to St. Mary, had the career that I had. So I think that was kind of what made me kind of have the career that I had, was having a chip on my shoulder, and you know, that kind of made me go to the gym every single day.
No, for sure. So how did you stay, I'm not going to say motivated, because how did you stay disciplined throughout your 4 years?
Yeah, so I was raised in a military family.
Okay.
So that has a lot to do with it.
100%.
A lot to do with it.
100%.
So that was kind of all I knew, was obviously putting in the work and doing what you're supposed to be doing, you know, every single day.
Right, yeah.
So,
It wasn't no messing around
nah,
for you.
it was just, I mean, it was just kind of my work ethic, you know, came from my parents. And, you know, kind of seeing them, also seeing my brother work. But that's just kind of what I've known for my whole life, just being in a military family.
For sure.
Is, you know, the discipline side of it, and, you know, kind of putting in the work of where you want to go. So.
No, 100%. So how would you say your parents impacted you growing up outside of that discipline? Were they always supportive of you
Always
playing?
supportive. Took me, you know, obviously to all my practices, AAU tournaments. You know, it's just more so of, you know, just being supportive of, you know, kind of anything that I, you know, wanted to do. You know, they were all for it.
No, 100%.
You know what I mean?
No, that's good.
So I have you know, a lot to, you know, kind of credit for them, and obviously installing, you know, kind of my work ethic, and, you know, like you said, the discipline side of it kind of made me to the player, you know, I am, and obviously, you know, kind of transition into the coaching. That's my coaching style as well.
No, for sure.
So, yeah.
All right, so passing Danny Manning in career scoring for the state of Kansas, was that important to you?
No, so I didn't even know about the record until like before my senior year started, and the school kind of put something out, and it was like a countdown
to you passing,
breaking the record.
Right.
I'm like, oh man, like I knew I was like my points were getting up there, but yeah, I didn't know about the record until kind of coming into my senior year.
38,000. What was it? 3,800.
33.
3,300 points.
3,330. So, yeah, I mean, like looking back on it now, I was like so in the moment in my college career that I never really like kind of like, wow, like this is a lot of points.
Right.
Like, looking back on it now.
Does it hold any weight for you now?
I mean, for sure. Like
Right.
we're like probably never gonna see that
Right.
again. You know what I mean? Like in Kansas. So like looking back on it now, for sure. Like I'm proud of kind of what I was able to do, and I'm just proud of kind of the work that I put in because I earned all of that.
No, 100%.
And I kind of, I tell kids all the time, obviously you just look at me, like, I'm not the fastest, most athletic, tallest, but, you put the work in, and you like learn, really learn the game, you can do whatever you want to do.
No, 100%. 100%. So what influenced you to play overseas and internationally?
Yeah, so coming out of college, I wanted to pursue kind of professional career and just kind of, I don't know, just kind of see what was out there. I didn't really know anything, honestly. So right out of college, I played in an international event. It's the Maccabiah Games. So my dad's side of the family is Jewish. So it's kind of like the Jewish Olympics for the world.
Okay.
So I represented Team USA. So it was the 12 players in the USA basically representing, the country. And we went to Israel, and I was playing with I think we had like Princeton, Cal, it was all Division I players. So played over there the summer after I graduated, and that kind of, put me kind of like on the map of, overseas. And obviously there's a process of getting over there, playing professionally. You have to get an agent, and it's a process. But that was kind of like my first taste of, overseas basketball.
For sure.
And my route was different. So after that, I actually played 2 years in, it was a professional league in Kansas City, so the Kansas City Tornadoes.
Okay.
And played there 2 years. And then after my 2 years there, that's when I went back to Israel and ended up playing 5 years. So like, my route was different. Everyone's route's different. And kind of when I got to Israel, I had to work my way up. And it kind of, my first year in Israel, we actually won the championship. Kind of overseas, like obviously if you win, then you get more opportunity. And so yeah, my first year I won a championship, and then my last year, I won a championship, and
An MVP?
An MVP, and
then you just stopped playing?
I retired.
Why did you stop playing after your best year theoretically? You
so,
won MVP.
Yeah.
Most players would be like, let me try and go into the Euro leagues or
Right,
somewhere else.
yeah.
You
No,
know what
I
mean?
definitely, physically, I could have played at a high level for a few more years. I take care of my body. That was a big thing, especially getting older. But I was just kind of ready mentally to, kind of close that chapter and, go to the next one. I was getting older, and, obviously some people don't know kind of the overseas season, but it's a long season over there.
For sure.
So it's 9 months over there. You get couple months back in the States. So, you know, I was over there August to, you know, June, and, you know, that takes a toll on you. And I was, you know, just ready mentally to be back, you know, kind of closer to family and friends. And, you know, I was missing holidays every year. And, you know, I would see my parents once, you know, every season. They would come over for Christmas, and that would be it.
Yeah, that's not fire.
And, you know, my friends were having kids, and, you know, I was missing
Getting married
weddings. And, you know, so it was more so just mentally, I was ready to just start, you know, a new chapter.
No, for sure.
So it kind of worked out. You know, I had, like, going into my last year, I kind of knew that it was going to be my last one, which I think it might have made, you know, my playing, like, that much better.
For sure. You knew you was wrapping it up, right?
So, yeah, I could have played more. You know, I left, obviously.
Right, yeah, definitely
money.
reading that, I was like, what?
Yeah, I left, you know, some contracts on the table, but, you know, my decision was made, and, you know, it was a good decision.
No, for sure. I mean, being close around your family is priceless. You can't really put a tag on that, so I understand.
Yeah.
So going back a little bit, what was the process like after college, like getting an agent, picking your team and everything like that?
Everyone's, like I say, route's different. So I was lucky enough to have a good college career. So I was already on the radar of agents.
Right.
And that's kind of how it works, where especially coming from a smaller school, you need an agent to obviously shop your name, your film. They have the connections overseas.
For sure.
So yeah, I had, you know, luckily enough, had a good career, and I had some options with some agents to, you know, kind of help me with that. So I actually had one agent, and then ended up not working out with him, and I had another agent, and that was the agent I had for the rest of my time. So over, like 5 years, I think, with him. I got to shout him out, Drew Kelso of One Motorsports. So I was actually one of his first clients.
Okay, for sure.
One of his first clients, and then now he has like NBA guys.
Okay, for sure.
It's been cool to actually see his
development.
You know, kind of one motive, you know, get to where it's at right now. But yeah, just coming out of college, you know, I got an agent, and like I said, my journey was different, where I played in the States for a little bit and then ended up going overseas.
For sure. So how was playing in the States? How did that come up? Like, I didn't even know there was another league.
Yeah, so there's a lot of leagues. Not a lot of people know, but there's a lot of leagues here. And actually, like my 2 years I played there, my team was really good. And kind of the difference there was like everyone's American. So overseas,
you're the only American.
Yeah, there's different rules where some teams can have 2 Americans, some teams can have 4.
Okay.
But here, like, everyone was American. So the competition was good. It was just kind of, you know, it just depends on how, you know, the funding is for each team.
Right.
Obviously, if, you know, teams are well funded, then they're not going to have any problems. But yeah, I mean, I had a great experience. I learned a lot. You know, I'm still close with a few of those guys that I played with. But, you know, I was kind of just ready to, you know, experience the overseas after that. And so yeah, that's when I got my Drew, my agent at One Motive, and you know, ended getting my first contract in Israel. And yeah, I kind of made a name for myself over there, worked my way up, and you know, like I said, I could have played a little bit longer, but yeah, that's kind of how it works.
Right, you're downplaying it. You want an MVP over there. Right.
It was I know.
Right, there's only a select people who can walk around and say that.
It was literally June, so it was like a year ago. They're playing in the finals over there right now. So yeah, it was a year ago, like around this time. But Yeah, we won
Crazy.
the championship. And then I flew back home and went on a little vacation and then started recruiting in
Started
July.
coaching. Crazy. It's crazy how life can
Yeah,
take you places.
Yeah, for sure.
So how would you say playing was in Israel compared to playing in?
Oh, it's completely different. Just it's very physical over there. There's different rules over there, and just a style of play is
Can
very.
you explain some of the rules? It's not too in depth, but
so
just a couple.
Just one rule is where you can hit it off the rim. So there's not really like goaltending. So basically, if it's let's say I do a layup and it's kind of like going around the rim, you can hit it off. So
What?
here in the States, anything on the rim is goaltending. If you
right.
hit it. So over there, yeah, you can hit it off. Another rule compared to the NBA is there's no defensive 3 seconds.
So you can just stand in the paint?
So people just stand there. Yeah, so it's very compacted, very slow-paced, physical. Like I said, it's very team-oriented. So a lot of times, like if you average like 15 or 16, like you're killing over there. So really, it's very team-oriented.
For sure. How much was the MVP averaging?
I averaged like 15, but it's very like win.
Right,
Like,
it's win-oriented.
like everything's about winning over there. Like if you're winning and you're averaging like 10, like you're gonna get a better contract just because everything's about winning.
Right, for sure.
So yeah, I mean it's very different, and it's a lot of, and it's like professional. Like you got to know your role, and you know I was very good at kind of playing without the ball, and like my kind of game fits the overseas style.
Okay, for sure.
It's no one really is like ball dominant. So it's very team oriented. You got to move the ball, play within the system, and so that's kind of how I kind of made my mark. Of obviously I'm able to play without the ball, team player. I'm very good at cutting. Yeah, it was definitely an adjustment, but kind of like my first year was big, which is kind of understanding the way they want to play.
For sure. Okay, so who would you say the best player that you've played against, collegiate or pro?
Best player, probably. I always work out with Landry Shamet, so he plays for the Knicks.
Okay.
From Kansas City, and I've known him ever since he was kind of growing up. We always worked out together, so it's been cool to kind of see his development. But yeah, that's probably the best player. He went to Wichita State. And then played in the NBA.
Yeah, got drafted to the Clippers, I think.
Yeah, played in the NBA. I don't know, it's like year 8 maybe. So, yeah, he can shoot it.
For sure, yeah, he got a strap,
Yeah,
for
he can
sure.
shoot it.
So what would the typical day/week look like for you while you were in Israel?
Ooh, that's a good question. So yeah, not a lot of people understand, like, over there you have a lot of free time. And like you'll have one team practice, and then the rest is on your own.
Like for the day, like
for
team
the day,
practice in the
for
morning.
day.
Like say it's at 8.
So let's say, let's say team practice is at night. So let's say it's at like 4 or 5. Usually I would have a workout in the morning. I'd have like a shooting workout, skill workout or whatever, weight room in the morning. And then you're kind of on your own until practice or whatever. But it's a lot of the times like that skill workout or whatever is not mandatory. So
right, that's your own work.
Yeah,
okay.
That's where a lot of times like players over there kind of get lost. Like you really have to be obviously like love basketball and be dedicated to it, because a lot of times you're just practicing once a day, and then everything else is
on
your own.
Right.
And that's where kind of like being lonely comes in, and you have to like accept obviously the culture, getting out of the house and actually like traveling, you know what I mean, or if you just sit there all day, like you're gonna go crazy.
Right. So how was travel over there? Like, was it by train, bus? Like, how were they doing things?
Yeah, so it's all the above. So it's train. A lot of people take trains. So in Israel, I played 5 years over there and lived in 3 different cities. So my last 3 years, I lived in the same city, and I was like 30 minutes from Tel Aviv, which is like the big city there.
Okay.
So that's like, let's say it's like Miami. So
Got
it's like
you.
the big city in the country. So a lot of people take trains. They take trains to work. A lot of people just take buses, public transportation. I had a car. So, I kind of drove to practice and everything. But, yeah, it was actually like coming from Kansas, though. I never took a train, never took a bus. So that was a big adjustment.
Yeah,
actually,
I bet.
Actually, I
Was that like your first time
drove
on-
everywhere in Kansas.
Was it like your first time on public transit?
Yeah,
Really?
Yes.
Was in Israel.
In Israel. Took the train.
That's crazy.
And it's in Hebrew, so like I'm figuring out everything.
Right, and you didn't have no Google Translate or nothing
so
like
it's
that.
like- Yeah, that was my first time like being open to like, okay, let me hop on a train real quick and get to the city, or let me hop on a bus. And so yeah, that was a whole thing.
That's
to me,
crazy.
like-
You were in Israel for your first time experiencing that. Because I remember being 16, like, I don't know how to get on the train. Like, getting to the train and like, what do I do?
Right.
I can't imagine not being able to read the English. I mean, read the language.
Right. And like growing up in Kansas, it's just like it's not like a New York City. It's not like a Chicago.
For sure. You're not from Kansas City.
I'm from suburb of Kansas.
Rural Kansas.
Yeah, on the Kansas side. So you just drive everywhere. And that was kind of what I was used to.
For sure.
So, like I never took public transportation.
Right. You had an older brother. You probably never had to take the bus to school.
So we.
Lucky you.
Yeah. Never. So yeah, that definitely was an adjustment for sure.
Okay. No. Yeah. That's crazy to hear. So what would you think the biggest cultural adjustment that you had to make while living in Israel?
Ooh, there's a lot. The language. It's just a lot of like the little things you take for granted is hard to get things done. Like if you want to call a bank, or sometimes you want to go to the grocery store, and you're trying to have like ask for directions. It's a lot of like one word like rest, like eat.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So it's like, obviously, like you try to figure it out, stuff like that. But the language barrier is a little tough. I was able to, kind of learn the basics of Hebrew, but I should have been fluent. But I just never like.
Yeah, you was over there for a little bit.
I never got into it.
You just weren't committed to
Yeah,
learning. You're just like, I'm just gonna go out eat food. Yeah. That's you.
I never like really like sat down and kind of like got into it. But like I just picked stuff up. Obviously, teammates talking and everyone's
For
talking.
sure.
So you just like pick up little things. That was like the biggest cultural where it's like you land and you're not hearing English.
Yeah, that's how I felt
That's
when
what
I
it's
was
like-
in
that's what
Europe.
I'm saying,
Yeah,
like, yeah.
Like they don't even say it on the PA.
Yeah,
Like in the
yeah,
airport, it was like
yeah.
no English. It's just straight Spanish and Italian.
Yeah, the food, I love the food. It's Mediterranean food, so everything's like fresh. Like I eat healthy, so like everything's healthy. The weather is lovely. Like I didn't see any snow out there.
Right. How long were the days? Because I was just in Spain and it literally didn't get dark until like 10 o'clock. So like were the
it's
days
like,
longer or were they?
It depends. Obviously, like what like month it is or whatever. So like summertime right now is hot over there, and yeah, the days are long. And probably when you were over there, you probably realized like everyone starts like their night or everyone starts like dinner way later.
Yes, way later, like
Yeah.
9, like 8, 9. I'm like,
so like
I'm
people,
starving.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
people are eating dinner like around that time, and then like people are going out like 1, 2.
I can't stand that.
Yeah, so like that was the one. Like I'm like, man, like people are out till 5, 6 in the morning. Like, what are y'all doing? You know what I mean?
I'm trying to be
But
home.
that's like the overseas, like
that's their vibe.
Yeah,
that's
that's like just how they live, how they grow up. So yeah, that was different. Obviously, like when I tell people I lived in Israel, you know, they always want to ask like, you living in a war zone.
Yeah,
you know
definitely stereotypical.
I feel like you were gonna ask that. So
I knew you were in like a city type, because I know it's not all war zones over there.
So I mean, obviously I went through a lot with the war over there. Like I saw everything. I was like 30 minutes from kind of like where everything happened, where everything started in Gaza. So like I've seen, you know, kind of the rockets in the sky.
You ever was? I mean, obviously, you were like a little nervous.
Yeah, like I was. Yeah. But I was never scared, like for my life, if that makes sense.
Right, I get
was
you.
never scared, because like the safety there is high level, and it's crazy to say, but like that's like their everyday life, and
Yeah, unfortunately.
yeah, and you know, there's a lot of politics to it. You know, I'm not gonna get into that, but you know, kind of like if a rocket happens, you know, there would be an alarm, and everyone is, you know, supposed to, you know, get to their safe space. And so my apartment actually was like underneath the ground, so
Okay, that's
I didn't
different.
have to go anywhere.
Right.
I just kind of stayed in my apartment, which was nice. But
Was it like stories underground, or how was it?
So it was like an apartment. It was like a host apartment right here, and then there was like an apartment underneath their like house. If that
Okay.
makes sense. But yeah, so like if a rocket, you know, kind of is in the air or whatever, there's an alarm, and you know, you're supposed to get to your safe space. Usually have like a minute, and Israel usually shoots the rocket down, and then the alarm goes off, and everyone goes back to
Just goes back to normal,
regular life.
just like that.
Cars start driving again. People start going out to grocery stores.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so which is like, it's just like what they know.
For sure.
It's what they know. But, you know, I do tell people, you know, to go over there and visit, though, because a lot of the times on the news or whatever, you know, that's kind of not the case.
Right, they're always showing the bad over there.
Parts. You know, it's a beautiful country over there. You're on the beach. Weather's beautiful. Food's great. A lot of historic kind of places.
For sure.
Jerusalem, you know, the most historic place in the world. So, you know, I do tell people, you know, if they do get the chance to go visit, and, you know, I think, you know, you would enjoy it. So.
Nah, for sure. All right. So what would you say you learned about yourself while navigating the pros?
I learned about myself that, you know, I can be in any situation and figure it out. And that was the main thing overseas of my first time really like living by myself. Because obviously like I went to college in my hometown, so I always had my family there.
Right.
And then you just wake up one day and you're in a whole nother country.
Right. Yeah, that
And
definitely is probably a
figuring
little
out,
shock.
like I said, banks, figuring out how to get there. I didn't have a car my first year, so figuring out, use public transportation. So like I really grew up a lot, and like I'm comfortable kind of like being by myself, and you know, like I said, in any situation, just, you know, figuring out. So
No, most definitely. So how would you deal with the isolation and the homesickness while you're away?
It's tough. I would get in the gym for sure. That's just kind of what I always relied on.
For sure.
Is just getting in the gym. And so that was a big thing. I would try to talk to my family, friends as much as I can. The time difference, I was 8 hours ahead, so my sleeping schedule was all messed up. I would stay up late, and
that's me right now. I'm still trying to get back.
Stay up late and talk to my friends, talk to my family as much as I could. I got better throughout my time over there of getting out and experiencing, obviously, like the places.
For sure.
Being like sightseeing. And so like my first year, I didn't do much, honestly. And like I didn't have as much fun as, my other years there.
For sure.
So kind of the main things, I learned, from my first year to, being over there for 5 years was, kind of just like accepting where you are at the moment, and, kind of being where your feet are, and, really just like enjoying, really just enjoying the country that you're in.
For sure.
Especially like my last year, like I told you, I knew kind of going in that it was going to be my last year. So, I tried to have an open mind to everything. And
tried to say yes to a lot more.
Yeah, just try to, enjoy it as much as I could. But no, it's a lot. If you really like don't love it, if you don't love basketball and like putting the work in, it's gonna be a challenge over there because it tests you more so mentally than physically. Obviously, everyone is super talented, but like I said, if you don't have any family, you don't have wife, kids, if you're just by yourself, it's tough.
No, so. For sure. So you find you a lucky lady over there? Or?
I did not.
You did not? Were you looking, or you were just straight hoop?
Man, I wasn't looking.
Well, you ain't falling into nothing.
I had a good time.
Look, that's good. Yeah. That's good, man.
Yeah, I had a good time. But no, I did not. I didn't have a wife.
It's all right.
No, it was a good time. Israeli, people over there, good people.
No, good. So, how did you manage contracts, lifestyle, and your finances while being abroad? What was different from that?
Really, like the only bills everyone's situation is different, obviously, but like the only bills I had were just kind of like my personal stuff. Like if I wanted to go out, that would be, kind of what I was spending my checks on. Like I said, like your flight's paid for. Obviously, like I said, everyone's contract's different, situation's different, but a lot of times, like your rent's paid for. That's like the main thing.
For sure. That's the main. That's the big expense. Yeah.
Man, I'm paying rent now. I'm like, man, like
it's tough.
Yeah. Hold on now, like my check, like half my check is gone.
That's how it would be.
You know what I mean? So like overseas, they pay for your apartment. Most of the time they pay for your car, your flight over there to and from. So like a lot of the times your checks that you're getting, are kind of yours, and you're saving a lot of that. So that was kind of like an adjustment from when I retired. Was I have to pay
rent.
Yeah.
You got to pay your. You actually got to pay your bills.
Every day, like what people do. You know what I mean? So that was a little different. That was. You learn that obviously as you go through the years, but to save money.
No, for sure. So. You've mentioned the bank a few times. How is the banking different over there?
Man, I used to have so much problems with the bank. It's just like the customer service, because obviously, like, if they don't speak English, then they gotta find someone that does speak English, and it's just a long process. But so the currency is shekels, so it's usually like 3 or 3.5 to 1. So basically 3 shekels equals 1 US dollar.
Okay.
So I had a Israeli bank account over there. So yeah, I would get paid in shekels, and then I would transfer that money to my US.
To US. So what, you would just like Zelle yourself, or like how?
No,
How was the process like for that?
You could, but I always I always went to the bank to try to get
try and figure it out. Yeah.
To try to get that done. So that was always a process. But yeah, I had my own Israel bank account there. Had my own debit card.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it was shekels. So I got everything in Israeli currency, and then I would always figure out how to get that to my US
American,
bank.
for sure. Okay, got you. So you talked about it a little bit, but like, was there a specific moment where you were like, yeah, it's time to hang it up, or you were just, it was just a mental thing?
It was, like I said, physically I was still playing at a high level. Obviously, like, I was getting older, so I couldn't, like, you slow down a little bit.
For sure.
But, I was still playing at a high level physically. Knock on wood, I did not have any major injuries.
No, that is
so
good.
Like, obviously every year, like, if you don't have any injuries, that's a success.
100%.
So I did not have any major injuries. It was just more so like just mentally, and I was just ready to start a new chapter, and I wasn't having as much fun like living over there. Like I said, I lived there for 5 years, and I was kind of like burnt out over there.
Understandable, for sure.
Kind of
Yeah.
like nothing about Israel, but I was just ready. I was just ready to be back, like, in the States.
Mm-hmm.
I plan on going back to visit, but all I need is like a week.
I understand.
Yeah, all I need
I
is
definitely
a week. All I need is
understand.
a week. Like, I was just ready to be done, like, living overseas,
Mm-hmm.
and I just. Yeah,
It was time to come home. It was time to come home.
It's hard to like kind of explain it if you haven't, like lived over there for so
Right.
long.
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
your explanation is fine to me, because
Yeah.
I was just gone for 14 days or however long
Yeah.
I was, and it was
I'm
like
sure,
day
the end, you were like,
day
man, I'm ready
7,
to get,
day
like,
8. I was like, man,
I'm ready.
I'm
to
trying
eat
to go
some
back to the.
Chick-fil-A. Like, that's another.
feel
Eat some
me?
Chick-fil-A, some Chipotle.
Exactly.
And I'm
And
a big I love sweet tea. Family's from the South, so like.
Do all the sodas taste different over there too? Like,
Well, I don't drink soda, so. Like,
or
that's
well,
another
let's say,
thing, but,
look,
lemonade is not
lemonade
as,
wasn't
like,
even lemonade in
it's-
Europe.
it's different.
It's literally
different.
sugar water. Like,
It's
it's
different,
not
for
even
sure.
sugar water. It's lemon water.
It's different.
Yeah.
That, like, the food was great, but like, there's not a like variety that you have here.
Mm-hmm.
So like by 6 months over there, you're like, man, I want some Chick-fil-A.
Right.
Like, dang, like something.
No, I definitely feel you. So there's no like, ain't got no McDonald's or nothing over
They
there?
got McDonald's.
Okay,
They got
well,
McDonald's.
nobody eats McDonald's. That's a
Yeah,
terrible.
They got McDonald's.
Right, if you care about yourself, nobody eats McDonald's really.
No,
but-
they have McDonald's. They have like KFC.
That's
yeah,
something that's
like-
crazy. I'm surprised KFC
Yeah,
is all
it
over the
was a
world.
little
Like,
different.
what?
Like, yeah, just like fried chicken in
Yeah,
the Middle
like-
East. So they have like the top main ones, but they don't have like obviously like the Chipotle, Chick-fil-A. They don't have like Starbucks, stuff like that. So,
Okay, for sure. Like the niche stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, do you miss playing? You've only been done for a
yeah.
year. But
I miss the competitive side of it, of playing at like a high level and being just in like a competitive game. That's what I miss. And it's hard to find that once you're done.
are you looking? Do you say you're looking for that in coaching, or
Yeah. So obviously this past season was my first year coaching. So I'm sure you're gonna get into that, but that would probably I'm looking kind of what is close to that, in coaching. I'm still getting out on the floor with the guys. That's what I love to do. Obviously, just got done playing. Like that's what I know is getting on the floor with them.
100%.
I'm still, playing ones with them, so that's kind of like the thing. But yeah, like the biggest thing I miss about playing is just, getting prepared for a big game and, the competitive side of it. Like, in between those lines, like, there's nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
So,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so.
No, I get you. I ain't played since high school, and I get you.
Yeah,
I get you.
So, yeah.
So, what's something that people don't know or understand about the business side of basketball?
Ooh, that you can get cut any single day.
Even if you're on contract?
Oh yeah, you can get cut.
Really?
You can get cut. Yeah.
Like,
You can
just
get
be
cut.
like, all right, go
They'll pay
home.
you. Yeah.
They'll pay out your
It
contract and
depends. Obviously, it depends on your contract. So if you have a guaranteed contract, you're gonna get that money. But yeah, they can cut you any day. So,
Really?
But a lot of it has to do with winning or losing. So.
You weren't ever over there like, I might get cut when I go in there.
Nah, never. So, like, if you're losing, they're gonna probably cut you. Like, if you're an American over there, they're probably gonna cut you and bring in another American. So, yeah, it's very cutthroat.
Just like that?
It's very cutthroat. 'Cause you gotta think of it like they're putting in, depends on what organization again, but they're putting in money out of like their pocket, the mayor or the owner or
For sure.
whatever the case may be. They're putting in money out of their pocket to win.
Right.
And if they're not winning, then
They're gonna figure out how
do
to.
whatever. So a lot of it, it's kind of like soccer where you have like promotions, you have relegations. So promotion basically is if you win the championship, then you go up a league. So let's say you're in the second league, you win the championship, you go up to the first league. Let's say you get relegated, so if you're the last team in the second league, you get relegated, you go down to the third division.
Got you.
So it's competitive throughout the whole year.
Okay, got
And a lot of those teams where their goal is to get promoted, like their goal is to win, and they put a whole bunch of money in. So, like, if you're not winning, then
They're like, what are you doing?
yeah, like
right.
we put a whole bunch of money into you, and you're not winning, then we're gonna do that for someone else. So, a lot of it it's a lot of pressure for sure, but you just gotta take care of your business.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
That's with anything you do,
Yeah.
really. So, all right.
Yeah, so I mean, you learn how to be a pro on and off the court, and that's what they love over there though is taking care of your business, being a pro, not getting in trouble, not having them deal with anything off the court, coming in, doing your work, showing up early, getting your work in after practice, getting in the weight room. If you do that, then and you don't cause any problems, like the management, whatever team you're gonna play on, like they're not gonna have a problem with you. They're gonna love you.
No,
So,
for sure.
So you learn that, you learn how to be a pro. And a lot of those times, like you're really not like the most talented, but you're an asset to, the organization, and you kind of know your role, and they're gonna pay you for that. So.
No, most definitely. All right. So, what inspired your transition into coaching?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say like someone like told me like I would be a good coach. It was just like all I know is like basketball. Like I've been going to the gym. I've been like I live in the gym, and like that's all I've known for the last 31, like 20 some years. You know what I mean? It's just like basketball, putting in work. And so like I knew I wanted to stick around the game somehow. And I felt like, through my experiences, kind of through my knowledge, I was gonna be able to give all that back to, obviously the next generation. And, that's kind of what made me, obviously be where I am today is, really just, staying around basketball. And, like I said before, like starting my next chapter and kind of starting from the bottom and learning a whole new craft because it's completely different than playing.
Yeah, completely different.
Completely different. And I'm lucky enough to, kind of work under Coach Ashton. And, like I said earlier, we've been friends for a long time, so we have already had that relationship. But, he was one of the best coaches to start my coaching career, for sure.
No, for sure. Shout out Coach Ashton.
Yeah.
Well, so what would you say your favorite part about coaching is right now?
Ooh, the relationships.
Okay.
With me being assistant coach, is also obviously like a different dynamic than the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that bridge the gap to, the head coach. So, I'm able to, build relationships with guys, get in the gym with them, and kind of like be there for them. And, this past year I was close with, a lot of the guys. And, I think that's like some of my best coaches are the ones that I'm still close with today.
100%.
And, that's kind of what I want, my coaching is, to have great relationships with guys and kind of let them know, or hopefully they know that I'm there for them, just not on the court.
No, for sure.
I mean? So it's more to just basketball, it's life. I know they're going through a whole bunch, but, I can relate to them, in that sense. So,
You already sound like a great coach.
man, I'm trying.
So what would you say the biggest hurdle of coaching so far would be?
Like seeing it and thinking everyone else sees what I'm seeing. If that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense to me.
You know what I mean? And
I know exactly what you mean.
like, obviously, I played and I was able to see things while playing. And then now that I'm not playing, kind of seeing that and thinking
Everybody else is seeing it.
they would make that read. Like, you know what I mean? So that was like an adjustment where, okay, they're not seeing that. How do I kind of teach them? How do I let them know, like, okay, if he does this, then what's your next read? You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Instead of like, oh, he should have saw that. You know
Right.
So, like,
Right.
That's probably like my adjustment where it's like, okay, not everyone, kind of sees the court or sees the game how I see it. So I have to break it down,
Right,
so,
you're teaching your game in a way.
So eventually, they will see that during the game.
Right.
So,
Okay, for sure. So how would you say your view of the game has changed since you became a coach?
My view of the game. There's a lot that goes into coaching.
Yeah, man. Yeah. The X's and O's.
Yes. And playing, all you're really like focused on is obviously yourself, but like really nothing like behind the scenes.
You're only focused on like the execution as a player. You're not really focused on how the execution happens.
Yes. And coaching, like, there's a lot that you got to do to obviously get guys, to hopefully have success.
Right, and to buy into you.
Film, you got the scouting reports. It depends. Like, you're wearing a lot of hats. And that was like the one thing I didn't realize when I was playing was all the things, like the stuff that the coaches were going through. And I would just show up to film and like, all right, let's lock in the film, see what the coach has to say, obviously, and, leave. But you don't realize, like, man, that coach watched film all night.
All night.
He put that highlight or he put that clip together in the morning, woke up early, put it together, put the whole scouting report together, typed everything up. And
it's a lot of work, man.
Yeah,
It's a lot of
so
work.
That was like the one thing, like, kind of getting thrown right into it right after playing, which was a good thing though. Like learning by experience.
Right.
Like I'm just getting thrown into this and kind of just figuring out. And that was like the one thing where it's like there's a lot that goes into it
100%.
to be a successful team.
No, for sure. All right, so wrapping up here, what would you say you're most proud of basketball-wise?
I got out everything that actually more than everything that I could ever imagine. Yeah. It's, man, I worked for everything that, you know, kind of I got in my career.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, once I like hung up the shoes, don't have any regrets.
No, that's good.
Don't have any regrets. So
You left it all out on the floor.
left it all out there. I got so much out of it. And yeah, so like that was the one thing. You know, kind of I worked for everything I got, and you know, once I was done, you know, I don't have any what ifs. So
No, that's good. And lastly,
Yeah.
so now that you're a coach, what does legacy mean to you going forward?
going forward, obviously, you know, I'm starting from the bottom, and like I said earlier, just learning. So I think in however years from now, hopefully we have, you know, a few more conference championships, a few more national championships.
For sure.
But I mean, it's always been about like the process, and it's always been about winning. And you know, even now, you know, I'm not playing. I think your legacy is, you know, kind of determines on, you know, kind of the process, the hard work that you put in.
For sure.
And at the end of the day, like the success that you had.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing's changing with my mindset now that I'm coaching. We're gonna come in, you know, work every single day, you know, and try to be great. So
That's all you can do.
that's all you can do. So
You heard him here. This is Grant Greenberg on the Mike on Mike podcast. We appreciate him again for having us on campus.
you, man.
We're mobile with it again, but this is the Mike on Mike podcast. I'm Mike Robb, and we'll see you guys on the next one. All right. Man, I appreciate you, Coach. Yeah. That was real.
I'm 3 hours away. You know what I'm on. Not much else to say. Girl, pick up the phone. You my favorite.